Good for you. What's up, Kelly? Yeah, Scorched was great in Buffalo. He played with a Balmer. You were there, Mark. You know. Like, are we ready to have, like, a good day? Happy Brews Day. I'm playing that specifically because the drummer in this band, Matt Izzy, also plays in Homewrecker. So this is Scorched from like the Baltimore area and stuff like that. So Matt, the drummer, teamed up with another lady to start it's like an Instagram museum, which they do plan to actually bring this stuff to places, to museum these, like, I guess, old heavy metal merch and stuff like that, like old t-shirts and all that kind of stuff, right? I mean, a lot of that shit is gone. Like, there's not many left of, you know, t-shirts and stuff from the 80s and even 70s or whatever. But, so that's Tragic is what it's called. And right now they are doing I want to say a fundraiser, but kind of like boosting the Jim Konya funds and the schooling that they've put together and everything like that in honor of Jim. So now they're putting together, they ended up acquiring Jim's part of his shirt collection, his t-shirt collection, because I mean that guy, he went everywhere too, right? So Matt and his partner, they have a bunch of Jim's stuff that they're going to post once every week to see, you know, what was in his collection kind of thing. So there is, we posted it, there he is right there. So we posted that on our Facebook, I believe it's Decibel, the Decibel article. But yeah, it's kind of cool, man. So I wanted to play some Scorched, Fucking good dudes, man. We ended up seeing them in Buffalo. I think it was 2 years ago with Embalmer there. So that was a rad show, super rad show, man. Good dudes, awesome dudes. So yeah, heck yeah, man. And they don't disappoint. They don't disappoint at all. So let's call our buddy up and see what's going on here. Let's turn this up. There we are. What's up, man?
Can you hear me okay?
Oh, I can hear you loud and clear.
All right, excellent.
What's up? What's up, my man?
I'm noticing your Scorched shirt. That's really cool, man. They're a big band.
They're unbelievable, actually.
Yeah, heavy stuff.
Have you seen them live?
No, I just have 2 of their cassette tapes. That's it. Yeah. Did you see them live?
Yeah, we ended up seeing them in Buffalo. They played 2 years ago. I believe it's called the Rockin' Buffalo Saloon with Embalmer.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Cool, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And I met Matt before, the drummer in Scorched, because his other band, Homewrecker, ended up touring to St. Catharines, where I'm from. So a friend of mine who is in actually this hardcore band called Haymaker, he was like, you got to come to this Homewrecker show because the drummer, he wants to talk with you because you like VHS and you like horror movies and you like death metal, and he's a big death metal guy. I'm like, all right, I'm coming to the show. So
that's awesome.
So he picks me up. We go down to the show and I walk in and then my buddy Sandy is like, hey, Matt, over here. So he turns around. He had an Incantation, Entrapment of Evil fucking set.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dude, that was the first 7-inch EP I ever got.
No shit. No shit.
Back in the day, man.
Where did you order that from? Through Relapse?
Yeah. It was from Relapse, yeah.
Totally. Well, because they had that whole Underground series at the time too, right?
Yeah, Deceased and a couple other bands. Yeah. Maybe I'm with this.
Yeah, Monstrosity, Mortician.
Oh, all right.
Goraphobia.
Oh yeah, Goraphobia. Okay.
I think General Surgery.
Yeah, good band.
Right.
All the good bands, actually. Yeah.
I know, right? The whole early Relapse catalog was like gold.
Yeah, I haven't picked up too much. Outer Heaven, maybe.
Right.
But I haven't picked up too. And I guess Gate Creeper. Are they on Relapse?
Yeah, totally are.
Yeah. Okay.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're early stuff though, man. Like that whole old catalog there from like like 92 and under, I guess you'd want to say. It was like
classic.
The classic shit, right? Like I ended up I ended up getting the Mortician Mortal Massacre 7-inch. A buddy of mine had it, and then he sold it to somebody else, so I was pissed. So I ended up buying it off of Discogs because I just need it. That's one of my favorite 7-inches probably ever.
You know, strangely, the only Mortician I have is their first demo tape, and that's it. That's all I have by them.
Wow.
It's not. I like them. I've seen them live before years ago.
Nice.
I like them, but that's just all I haven't had by them.
Where'd you see them?
In a local club in my area, Northern Virginia area. Yeah,
right.
It was a long time ago, man. Early, probably like 92, 93, maybe.
No shit, you saw them then, eh?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
It's only 30 years ago, almost. No big deal. Right?
I guess it's about that. Hey, before we get started, man, I just want to say thank you because you're a historian. I mean, essentially, what you're doing with the Growl documentary, you're documenting this era of music and its genesis, and I commend you for that. I think it needs a proper presentation, and it seems like what you're doing is spot on. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Wow.
I'm sure everybody else has been very appreciative too, but I just want to let you know. I think it's awesome that you're doing that.
Thank you. Well, I mean, that's the thing too, right? I mean, nothing against what Banger did with, Metal Evolution and
they're limited. I mean, they skim the surface, obviously, of all these,
Exactly.
but you're having to dig deep. You're digging real deep into the real underground stuff.
But this is what fueled the whole scene back in the day too, right? Right?
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't just Earache and Relapse and all that.
Yeah.
It was, Necroharmonic, and it was fucking Rage Records, and it was,
Rage, yeah.
right? So it's all that stuff. And actually tomorrow when I chat with Ed Farstay, he ran Rage with Joe Pupo.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. All
Yeah.
right.
So
Cool.
so tomorrow Ed, and he ran a zine called the Book of Armageddon.
Okay. I don't think I have that, but I think I have maybe False Prophet or Infernal Hierarchy record that came out
Oh yes.
from Rage. I think that might be the only title I have from them.
Yeah.
But that band was from the town I went to college in North Carolina, Infernal Hierarchy. And I love that stuff, and I love False Prophet. I mean, that demo tape is just so freaking awesome. total Morbid Angel worship all the way through. It's really such a great full length.
Yeah, because those guys have been around for quite a while, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. I guess it's kind of like my personally my cup of tea is where you have a death metal band that isn't all cavernous sounding. I like that late '80s thrash sound in the early death metal.
Totally.
And so that's kind of what I go for typically, preference wise. And I feel like False Prophet kind of hit the
Captures
mark on
that,
it.
eh? No shit. I got to look into them more because I see people posting about it and stuff, and I felt it was a newer band.
No, they were probably, I would imagine, formed in the late '80s.
God
Probably.
damn.
Or at least 1990.
See,
Yeah.
I don't know everything. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what we're doing.
I know,
We're
I don't
talking
either.
here.
I don't either, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still try to keep up. I'm
I try.
buying stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like almost every other week, I'm buying tapes, or CDs. Trying to support the newer bands too, and picking up a repress here and there.
Totally.
But yeah, man, there's a lot of really good death metal out right now.
Yeah.
And newer death metal.
And you ended up doing a 3-way split with a bunch of bands just recently, and then the tape sold out in like fucking 5 minutes or something.
Yeah, dude, that was crazy, man. I think it's more the other bands, really was what propelled that.
Oh, it's not you? It had nothing to do with you? Come on.
I mean, my project is kind of hit or miss for folks. Feted Zombie is kind of hit or miss for people, and I get that. It's fine, But I think Rotted, and I'm natural. Oh, look at that.
There we are. So there's
support, man.
yeah, there's some shit
Very
right there.
cool.
You got to go check it out. Feted Zombie.
Yeah.
And as you can tell, the artwork looks a little familiar. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
ever seen that before.
Yeah.
Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, so we did that split cassette. There's a 3-way cassette with Unnatural and Rotted and Feted Zombie, and yeah, it was weird, man. The demand for that. I've never had that happen where a cassette would sell out. It was a short run press, but still to move like 125 copies in a matter of hours.
Literally.
Yeah, it's weird, man. I never had that happen ever. Anyway.
So
yeah, so the response is good.
Yeah. So you put out 120 copies, you said, and how did
Something like that.
So obviously, were they sold through your site?
Yeah, so each band just sold them through their respective Bandcamp sites. Yeah.
So Unnatural, which is Ken Escobedo from Ken's Death Metal Crypt.
Yeah, Ken. Yeah.
Totally,
yeah,
man.
Ken's Death Metal Crypt.
Yeah.
yeah.
What
And Rotted, who's a newer, generally a newer band, but really, again, hitting the nail on the head when it comes to just sewer dwelling death metal. Really good stuff. A little bit of Finnish influence too in their stuff.
Yeah. Totally. So that's cool though, man. Because now that, like you said, this little 3-way split, it's 120 copies. That's it. There's no represses, no nothing.
Yeah, no repress. I think the Unnatural track might be appearing on some compilation soon, but that's about it.
Wow.
But yeah, it was pretty limited. Yeah.
So how long have you been doing Feted Zombie for then?
It's been a little over 10 years, maybe 12 years now.
Jesus.
I think. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just been a little while.
Well, because you obviously have something in you, obviously for the art side that you need to get out just musically also because you're a huge fan?
Well, I mean, I was actually, I mean, I've been playing music since I was about 12. I've played in a couple bands, you know, the past 30 years or so. Um, and Feted Zombie was just kind of a way to just do my own thing, my own self-expression. And I just gotten to the point where it's more of an open-ended collaborative effort. I just do the basic songwriting, and then I have guest musicians come in and do other parts.
Sweet.
And it seems to work out. I mean, obviously, I'm at the whim of the schedules of the folks I'm working with, but it's nice to kind of have that kind of, you know, that control and
It's your band.
personal approach. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's my own vision, and I just have other people kind of help see it through. You know.
Totally. Right on. And you've put out like how many releases now? Like you're kind of all over the place with this, right?
I don't know, like
Yeah.
20, 25. I don't know.
Totally.
Got a couple of things. Just came out this year. That three-way split. And that you mentioned, and then a four-way split on Unspeakable Acts Records, the
Yep.
Four Doors to Death. That just came out a couple months ago. And I finished up my full length, and that's going to come out on Transcending Obscurity Records.
Nice.
Hopefully later this year. Then I got a couple splits planned with Infected Religion and Cemeterian.
Nice.
And Corpse Hole. So a couple splits in the works right now. I've got about 10 new songs I'm working on right now.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Dude, it's kind of like, I know it sounds like a lot, but it's sort of, for me, it's the last thing on my laundry list of things to do.
Right.
And I only kind of do it when I feel like inspired, you know, when the time is right.
Totally.
I don't play often. I don't practice. When I sit down to play, I'm gonna record right then and there.
Right.
You know, I don't plan out songs real thoroughly. I just kind of let them flow. It'd be more of like storytelling moments rather than so much the cookie cutter type approach. You know.
Totally.
But yeah, it's, you know, that's just something on the side.
Sweet.
Another creative outlet.
Totally. Well, that's just it. I mean, like when you're doing a lot of this, you have riffs. Whether you play or not, you have riffs. Right.
And you're a musician too, right? You used to play in a band, didn't you?
Totally.
What band were you in?
Well, the last death metal one I was in was Coffin Rot. That was from 96 to 2001. And before that was Mangled, and that was 91 to 94.
Mangled, okay. Did you guys publish some stuff, right? Some demos, or?
And what?
Did you guys do some demos too?
Yeah, we released one 4-song demo. The Mangled did, and then the Coffin Rot. We never really released anything because we were trying to record, and then our files got lost. So then we were gonna re-record, and then it just didn't work. So so there's 3 songs up on YouTube right now. But yeah, it's Coffin Rot CA, because there's the other Coffin Rot that's out now too. Right?
Yeah.
Which are fucking awesome too, man.
Yeah, I've got a couple of their releases. I was supposed to do some work for them. I don't know if that's still happening. But yeah. And I'll have to look at Mangle too. I don't know. I'm kind of wondering if I have your demos somewhere in my collection.
I know.
I'll look around.
Yeah, because I mean, like the times that we've chatted, pretty much we're going on each other, going, yeah, man, I had that demo. Oh yeah, and then you're like, oh yeah, I had that demo, and I'm like, oh yeah, I had that demo.
Yeah.
So it's almost.
I caught part of your interview with Roy from Necroharmonic, and he busted out the Putrefact demo. I was like, oh, I have that one. I gotta go revisit that, you know. I just recognized it, but dude, I literally haven't listened to that in 25 years or something.
Really?
I'll take a revisit it.
Wow.
But,
I've been on a kick lately of just wanting to hear demos. I'm just trying to find everybody's first and second fucking demos, man. And I have that feel right now. I just want garage.
Yeah, no, I get that. And you know, that's the thing too. A lot of the music I hear now is overproduced in some regard. I actually kind of prefer the more raw, you know, the more raw sound to recording. And just there's more, I guess, more intimate.
Yep.
You know, more
Exactly.
underground sounding. But I think that's a benefit, you and I have being more of the from the old guard, of metal. That's what we listened to, were these crummy garage tape recording, boombox recording demo tapes. So we
Yeah.
built an ear for the nastiest sounding stuff, so we can tolerate
Yeah.
whatever's thrown at us.
It's true. It's true.
You build you have to build it's just like when you heard death metal, you don't get it right away. You have to build an ear for it,
Oh yeah.
And it takes multiple listens, and you have to let it grow on you a little bit. But sometimes I hear, there are some amazing musicians and great bands out there, but I won't buy their stuff because it sounds way too overproduced or polished, in my opinion.
Yep. No, totally.
But to each their own. Everybody's got their own taste and preference,
Yep. No, I feel you too, man. It's the same thing with like I'm not comparing pretty like anything bad with it, but like new Deeds of Flesh compared to old Deeds of Flesh, right? Before they were using the triggers, and it was a raw production, and then and then when they got into the 2000s, you can kind of start hearing they got some triggers and snares, a little clickety and whatever, right? It's still good music, but it's that sound though, right? Even if it's technical, that raw sound is that's just death metal.
Yeah.
That's the point.
that kind of resonates with me more too. But and don't get me wrong, there's overproduced stuff that I like also. But it's mostly I tend to go for preference wise just the lower grade recording.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yeah. So we were chatting before also, and you mentioned, because we're going to be having Vader come up here on Thursday, and you mentioned that was the first demo you ever heard.
One of them. Let me grab something real quick.
Dude. Right on.
Yeah. So.
Oh, you didn't have to go too far.
No, this is you probably can't see, just a generic cassette, right?
Yep.
But this is a cassette tape that Alex from the band Our Ghostland, he's the one who got me into the underground scene.
Oh yeah.
He made this cassette. He dubbed this cassette tape for me to check out some bands, and he put Doomstone, Rotting Christ, Vader, Sentenced, and Necromancia. So those bands were the first underground bands I really listened to. Then I started, ordering stuff,
sure,
picking up demo tapes, picking up comp tapes, and working through tape traders and whatnot.
Yeah.
But those were the first bands, and it was a Vader Morbid Reich demo was on there,
nice.
Man. That's just that demo. Even some of those tracks ended up on their first album.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminds me of another Polish band called Aggressor from the early 90s. It's just super hyper speed, fast. It's just ripping thrash, but with death metal kind of vocals.
Yes, and it's kind of has a cleanliness to it, but it doesn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But
totally.
Man, that stuff just tore my face off when I heard it. I was already listening to stuff like Creator and Sodom,
sure,
things like that. But hearing the Vader demo really, it's a great release, and it also prompted me to pick up their debut. So
right,
and they're still putting out really good music, man.
They haven't stopped.
No,
unbelievable. Every 2 or 3 years they have an album coming out. Like, it's unbelievable, man.
Great artwork, great music.
Right. Yeah, totally. So was that the guy who was the gateway to you getting into the underground?
Yeah. So there was a Tower Records in my area here. It's like Mike from Deceased worked there. Tom Phillips from While Heaven Wept worked there. Valerio from Granville Alice Key worked there. And a good friend of mine from high school, Mike Bull, he worked there also and was in charge of some of the imports. And so I was in Tower Records one day looking, and I was already into death metal at the time, but stuff from like Earache, more accessible.
Sure.
Death metal and thrash, obviously, but I saw their Ghostland demo tape sitting on the shelf, and I liked it. I picked it up because the logo kind of reminded me of DSI's logo a little bit, and I brought it home and listened. My twin brother and we listened to it, and I thought, man, this is so cool. There's a local band playing death metal, and they're from Reston, which is a town next to Herndon, which the town I grew up in. So they were just like 20 minutes from my house, and I think it was what I did was I wrote them a letter. He wrote back and sent a bunch of flyers, for tape traders, other bands, and stuff like that. So that was kind of the gateway, if you will,
Sweet.
into death metal, underground death metal.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's crazy. I remember my mom driving me to his house because I didn't even have a license then. I bought an issue of Putrefaction magazine from Sweden.
Wow.
He was carrying a couple copies, so I bought one off of him. So here I am, just exchanging like $5 with this long-haired dude in some townhouse, in a town next town over. And that was, again, that fanzine had like At the Gate and Necromantia and Samael and all those bands in there, Denial of God. And so that was, Vital Remains. That was my introduction, man, to death metal.
Right on. Yeah, and it just drew you in because of the, like you said, the artwork, just the rawness of it. Well,
there's also a mystique. I mean, when you hear a band like Necromantia for the first time, I don't know if you're familiar with their stuff, but
somewhat.
I have a place in my heart for early Greek black metal. I love that sound, that early Storm Studio sound.
Oh yeah.
And Necromantia, I mean, they were, people are making a big deal about Rivers of Nile and having a saxophone, but man, Necromantia, Pandemonium, all those bands, they were using saxophones too, but in a very experimental way. But the Necromantia stuff was just super, super dark, ritualistic black metal, super evil sounding.
All right, I gotta look into this.
So there's mystique there that's harder to come by, I think, nowadays because of the internet. Everybody knows who everybody is.
Totally.
But yeah, and just sort of also the mystique of sending $10 in the mail and hoping you get something back.
Honestly.
The first thing I ordered was a demo tape from Phlegm.
Yeah.
Phlegm?
Yeah.
I think they're Jersey. Are they Jersey?
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island. Okay.
Yeah.
And I never got it. So I mean, I don't know if maybe my cash got lost in the mail or whatever, but I eventually picked up. Roy published a comp of their stuff, and I picked that up eventually. But
and now that's all sold out.
But that happened. This kind of thing with the underground is always a gamble. And not to say that they're ripoffs or anything. No. I mean, anything could have happened. Could have just got lost in the mail for all I know.
Totally.
But I remember that was my first experience ordering something, from the underground scene. But I carried on and started ordering, started writing to bands, ordering stuff, doing tape trading, writing with record labels, and eventually figuring out that, hey, this is a good avenue for my artistic expression. And I started drawing for fanzines and doing logos for bands and all that stuff.
So were you always drawing anyways?
Yeah. I always had an interest in art. And that's definitely my first passion, but I'm very fortunate to have, music, death metal music particularly, as a vehicle for my art,
Right.
If it wasn't for metal music, I'd probably still be drawing, but who knows what, or for who, so I'm very grateful. And I mean, I've always had a love for music. I'm sure you have too.
Oh my God, yes.
But it's great to be able to contribute, to give back to it in some way.
Something.
Just as you are.
Yeah. Something. It feels good.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's a duty, sort of duty. As fans, to not only just be a fan, but to be, a contributor also.
Yep.
Love
all aspects of it. I just want to be a part of it.
Right.
Simple as that, absolutely. Man. I just want to hang out with all you people and see some cool shows, look at some rad artwork, all that kind of, like, it's such a cool scene, man. It literally is.
Dude, I can't even tell you, man, how many people I've interacted with. I'm sure you're the same. I mean, you're interviewing all these folks for your documentary, but man, just so many people I've had to interact with, and most of it's through mail or through email.
Right.
But it's still just incredible, an incredible scene.
It's fun.
Incredible network of people.
Yeah.
The similar taste.
So when you got into, did you, as soon as you got into the underground of, the music scene or whatever like that, is that when you started drawing for people and stuff like that, offering your services?
Yeah.
Is that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I just started doing like filler artwork for some fanzines, and I would draw logos for some bands and demo tape covers, 7-inch EP covers, T-shirts, and basically I'm just doing the same thing now. It just
Totally.
I have the internet.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, with anything you practice, you tend to improve over time. So, I mean, I feel like I've gotten more in a routine and more. I could be more efficient now than I used to be.
Right. Well, because I remember a lot of my first flyers and zine ads and all that kind of stuff too. And there was that one flyer of you and your brother that always circulated around.
Oh yeah, an X%.
Right?
Yeah, my old band. Yeah.
Is that what that was?
Funny. Yeah, it was. We had a band called X%, and we put out 2 demos, and then I found some an unpublished third demo, which I released a couple of years ago. But yeah, we did a lot of interviews and circulated a lot of flyers through the mail and all that.
Because it was, I think it was. I don't know if it was you or your brother was sitting at the drawing table, and then the other one was kind of sitting above.
Oh, yeah, that was probably me. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe it was an ad for my art. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But we did a lot of flyers.
So your brother did it too?
And even now, I'm still publishing flyers.
Right. Totally. So it was you and your brother at the time.
Yeah. So I have a twin brother, an identical twin brother, and he's into metal. I don't know how much he listens to it nowadays. I don't. I'm not able to talk to him as frequently as I used to because we both have families. We're very busy.
Totally.
But yeah, the two of us would write in the bands and do mail and stuff, like do the whole underground thing. Yeah.
Oh,
we did a fanzine together for a couple of issues at one point.
What was it called?
It's called Gateway Magazine. It's a small
Sweet.
small fanzine. We only did 2 issues, but we interviewed bands like Dreaded Infection or something like that. Time Ghoul. Gosh, it's so long ago. I can't even remember. Phantasm. I don't know.
Nice. Yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
a good handful of bands. Dreaded
Sweet.
Pulp, stuff like that.
So you did the zine obviously because you guys were drawing, and it was like, well, I could throw more art out there with my own project.
It was a way to support bands too.
Mm-hmm.
We've always kind of had our hands in creative things.
Yeah, totally.
There's just another outlet for creativity.
But it pretty much just blossomed from there, like the underground flyers everywhere, starting to do a little, like you said, a little piece for a 7-inch. There's a zine, there's a little T-shirt, and then it just kind of just kept going.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like, artists like Pushead, for example. I mean, he had Metallica to support to make his art known and to make get him in the public's eye. For me, it was just basically drawing over and over and over and over and over and over again for tons of bands. People start noticing after a while,
Of course.
So that's just kind of how it happened. I don't know how else to explain it. It's just, I didn't stop doing what I like to do, and I just kept doing it.
So hey, you've done it literally this whole time, full time.
Yeah, it's been keeping me busy.
Sweet.
Yeah. So I'm curious, with your documentary, how far along are you with the Growl documentary? How close are you guys to wrapping up?
Well, we were hoping to be finished by October.
Okay. This coming October?
Shooting.
Oh, okay.
Right. So, I mean, we still had a couple more trips to do. We had to go to the States, so again, we got to wait for that now.
Okay. Oh, right. Yeah, pandemic.
We were gonna hit up Quebec Death Fest because we were gonna meet up with Cam Lee and.
Oh yeah, Cam. Okay.
So wanted to sit down with him because we do have interview footage of him, but I want to interact with Cam. That's the one thing with Cam. I mean, same with you, man. Like we're passionate horror and fucking metal dudes, so we're just gonna geek out on each other, and that's what we're gonna talk about. So that's what I want. So we're waiting for that, and then hopefully I was gonna try to go to a Full Terror Assault also.
Okay.
that outdoor festival with, like, I think MOD is going to be there, general surgery. But I mean, again, is that going to happen? Who knows, right?
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
So I mean, there's some stuff's been put aside, obviously. So the first thing we have to wait for is literally when the border opens.
Yeah.
So
Understood.
that's going to be
Yeah.
that's the problem.
Yeah, no, I get it, man. It's been a headache for me too. Believe me.
Oh man,
Yeah.
well, just with mail and packages and everything, right? I mean, they're charging astronomical rates to get stuff shipped.
Yeah, I actually put a hold on my on both for Feted Zombie and for RIDDICK art. You know, I put a hold on orders. I stopped. I basically closed down my web store because I don't want to go to the post office. I don't have the whole online postal thing set up. And I've looked into it, but it's pretty cumbersome in my opinion. So I might just kind of wait it out. But yeah, it's you know, I'm used to doing my weekly postal runs. You know, giving my 10 grand donation to the post office every year. You know, especially for all those overseas orders.
Right.
God.
Sweet.
But,
well, that's cool though. Overseas, man. That's a lot. There's a lot of fans over there.
Yeah, it's a bit pricey.
Yeah.
Shipping overseas, but
Big time.
But yeah, yeah. So I kind of put a hold on merch, you know, for right now.
Totally.
I don't know. I might revisit doing something online, but I'm kind of exploring it right now. Test the waters, see how it ends up being.
Totally. Yeah, because we would have shirts available ourselves. Like we have a new design by you also, which is fucking fantastic. So we have designs and we have shirts available, but like you said, our printer and guy, Twisted Tees, he's shut down because he can't get orders.
Oh, okay.
So that's his problem there too. So it's just like we're all fucking kind of stuck like this right now, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's unfortunate.
Well, because you want to send stuff out. You want people to be happy, right?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I've got stock. I just had I've been working on some collaborations, shirt collaborations with bands, and so I've got these. I just recently did a collaboration with Undeath from Rochester, New York.
Sweet.
Really, really, just phenomenal death metal.
Yep.
And same with Sugabog, which I think a lot of people know about now.
Yep.
Too, I have some shirts, and they're just Pirate Press printed them, and they're just sitting in my basement right now, down here, waiting to, you know, for me to put them online. And I've got some other collaborations in progress too that I guess I'll just put them on hold until this pandemic thing kind of settles down at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it definitely puts a wrench in things, no doubt.
Oh my God, man. Well, like you said,
I'm sorry to hear it's affecting your documentary. You know,
it's affecting everybody.
so is Rabbit Dog is going to do the post editing and post work on it?
All of it.
Is that right?
Everything.
Okay.
Yep, we do it all.
That's good.
Totally.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
because everything that you've seen so far, trailer-wise, or the teasers, or the Indiegogo video that we had up and everything, that's all done by fucking Phil Pattison. He's the fucking master editor and the genius behind Rabbit Dog Films. I say it all the time. The guy's a genius. He's a genius. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna take care of it, and we do have other projects waiting, and we're working on some other stuff ourselves too. So
yeah, you guys, you're working with CDN Records, right? To put out what was it, the Grotesque Infection? Is that the most recent?
And I'm gonna be sending you a copy once you send me your address.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, I forgot to do that. I'll take care of that for you. No, dude, I appreciate it. I mean, I'd love to purchase it, really.
No. I'm sending it to you, man. Don't worry. We're gonna split a little care package for you.
I think that's one of the. I don't know that I ever had anything by them, but I remember seeing interviews with them, seeing their flyers coming through the mail in the early '90s. You know, I've always been curious about them. Are they New York?
Yes, they are. Niagara Falls, New York.
Okay. Yeah, I remember seeing you on Banger Films for the first time for that one of the, I think it's Brutal Death Metal.
Yep.
And you were wearing an old flyer on your sweatshirt. I almost lost my shit, man, because I was like, dude, this guy knows real underground music. I recognize those logos on his shirt, all of them, You know?
Exactly. That was the point, man. That was the introduction, because, and that's the whole thing that I'm trying to do with the Growl is, like, you know, we all love Deicide, Obituary, Morbid Angel. We love the big guys, right?
Yeah.
But they did their thing, and the underground did their thing, right?
Yeah.
So
and those bands came from the underground. I mean,
that's just it. Also, totally.
But so many. I mean, there's so many great bands. You know, that I could think of. There, like Putrid Decay, Incest from Texas, Mortal Dread from Wisconsin. All these old school bands, Phantasm,
right?
You know, from Wisconsin. All these old bands that, you know, might be overlooked because they were just, you know, they didn't make the cut back then. But they put out some awesome demos.
Well, look at Time Ghoul.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that just changed the face of death metal, right? Modern death metal.
Dude, it literally did. I say this all the time, man. It's like literally Matt of Dark Descent Records.
Yeah, Matt, yeah. Oh, you chatted with him, too.
Totally, man. And you ended up doing the album art for that, didn't you?
Yes, yeah. I wrote the liner notes and did the album art, yeah.
So
I used to write to them. And in fact, one of the T-shirt collaborations I'm working on is that's coming out, I guess, whenever this pandemic ends. I did a Time Ghoul collaborative shirt, so I worked with one of the former members to get that squared away. So I'll have to share that sometime. The art turned out pretty nasty. It's for a Death Spot. But yeah, Time Ghoul, man, one of my favorite bands. You know, back in the day and still now today.
I didn't get it then.
It was complex.
It was strange. It was weird.
It was like Nocturnus on you know, steroids or something.
Right. Exactly. Right. Yeah. Same thing. And at that time, I wanted From Enslavement to Obliteration grindcore, and I wanted to hear Exhumed and Pyrexia and embryonic and embryonic death, and I wanted I wanted to hear I wanted to hear the fucking deadly, brutal gore horror stuff, man. That was my fave. So anything after that was kind of like, oh, I get it, but it's not what I want to listen to. Like another one, Hell Witch.
Yeah, I love Hell Witch. Yeah.
I wasn't a huge fan then, right?
Total thrash, man.
Dude, I think it's one of the greatest. Oh my god.
Now it's like, damn, this is awesome. Yeah, no, dude, there's so much stuff. That's why I mentioned, like, Putrefact. I gotta revisit that. There's something there that Roy hears in it. You know, maybe I should give that another listen. Maybe I didn't get it, 30 years ago. Maybe today I will.
Oh my god, you have to, man. You're gonna feel that.
Yeah, what was I missing? Yeah, there's a lot of. Well, that's why I bring up, like, the band Incest, for example. They're not really well known. Maybe you've never heard of them, which is a crazy name for a band. But I mean, it's like they put out one or two demos maybe, and I think I had their first one, and it's just the most bizarre, crazy death metal you ever hear. It's like Pestilence, but with a lot of, like, keyboards and chaos mixed into it. Anyway, great stuff.
Wow. And you have the demo still?
What's that? You
have the demo still?
Yeah. I still listen to it a lot because I love it. It's really good. It's original. Nobody else, you can't hear anything else like it, you know? So it's one of those bands, again, that just got overlooked.
Right. Is it on Ken's Death Metal Crypt?
I don't think so. I don't think he has it. I'll have to send it to him. I'll have to make a digital copy and send it to him. It might be on. It's probably floating around on YouTube somewhere.
God, I gotta check this out now for sure. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's. I like it. It's really forward thinking for its time, you know.
Yeah.
And still to this day, I don't think I've heard anything like it. But there's a lot of stuff kind of floating around like that, you know. And I think Time Ghoul is definitely one of those bands too, you know, that just
weren't appreciated then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally, man. And I get it because I wasn't in that zone at that time. Now,
yeah, same here. I mean, I was more into, like, the Suffocation type.
Oh fuck
death metal.
Oh yeah.
First Pyrexia album.
Baphomet.
Mockery. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
Torture Crypt. That was kind of like what I was going after. You know, Eternal Bleeding, all that heavy stomping. You know.
Yep.
Death metal, but now, my ear has expanded. I'm close-minded in the sense that I, like, mostly focus on death metal.
Right.
I like other kinds of metal too, and I like some stuff that's not metal.
Love lots of
But
stuff that's not
but
metal.
but I'm still tend to kind of hone in on a particular sound.
Of course.
Is there anything? I'm curious. Is there anything new that you would recommend right now?
Mephitic Corpse.
Okay, I've heard of them, but I haven't
Yes.
picked it up yet.
Dude, it's exactly, and they put it on their ads, like Headsplit put it out. And on their ads, it says, for fans of grotesque infection.
Oh, really?
Dude,
Perfect.
they are going for that. They are going for that death grind garage sound, man. And they fucking captured it, dude. It's unbelievable.
Have you heard of Bone Sickness?
Heard of.
Okay, very very much like what you just described. Grindcore, but very underground and raw, with a lot of conviction.
Right.
And I'm personally not huge into grindcore, like grind stuff, but that band, and there's also Andrew from Rip to Shreds has a side project, and I drew their logo, but I can't remember the name of the band because it's some long ass sentence. But it's really good. It's really good.
Rip to Shreds is good. Rip to Shreds is good.
Yeah, I like Rip to Shreds. Actually their new full length just came in the mail this week.
Oh, nice.
It was good.
Fuck yeah. But what about
actually,
like death grind stuff like Dead Infection or something like that, right?
Yeah.
That's the fucking bomb.
Yeah. I mean, that's because, was it Morbid Records put that out in Germany, like in the early 90s? I think I have one or two other albums, maybe.
Yeah. What was it? They did, it was like a split of like Start Human Slaughter and World Full of Remains.
Okay.
And then that's when Morbid was putting out the Dying Fetus, Killing on Adrenaline, and Hemorrhage with
yeah, again, another good death grind.
I don't like their new stuff.
What's that?
I don't like their new stuff.
I haven't heard them in a while. I have a lot of their old stuff, but I don't have anything recent.
All the old stuff, exactly. Anatomical Inferno, Groom, like the old shit, man.
You know all the names, dude. I probably have like 5 or 6 of the releases. I don't know what any of them are called. I just know I like the band. I don't pay attention to titles very often. I'm just like, damn, I love this band. Like there's a lot of really new stuff, cool new stuff. Like have you heard of Cyst from Russia?
They're the best.
They're awesome.
They're
man.
Amazing.
Yeah, I wish they would pull more stuff out.
Yeah, I know, right? They're keeping everybody hungry.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of really good labels now. Putting stuff out. Dark Descent. You mentioned that. Yes. And Maggot Stomp is obviously a good one. What do we have here?
So Cropsy Maniac.
Oh, Cropsy Maniac. Yeah.
Yeah, and Gruesome Stuff Relish.
Oh yeah. Okay. But yeah, I've got stuff from both of those bands. I did split with Cropsy Maniac.
Oh, with, sweet.
One of my other bands, Grave Wax. Speaking of Cam Lee sang for that project I was in.
Nice.
We did split with Cropsy Maniac and a couple other bands.
Cam Lee did vocals and lyrics on a song, and I did lyrics on a song on this album.
Did you really?
Yeah, on this too.
That's awesome. I didn't know you were writing lyrics, man. You got to write some lyrics for me sometime.
Hey, dude, I'll totally do that.
Yeah, I'll have to hit you up sometime for that.
Oh, fucking hey, man. I'm in. Look at that collaboration going on right now.
Right there, man. Just made that happen. Yeah.
Totally did. But yeah, this Cropsy Maniac, man. Are you do you like Frightmare?
Yeah, I like Frightmare. I've got some of their stuff too.
Yeah.
Fondle Corpse, all that kind of,
Yeah, the whole Razorback era or whatever. Yeah, totally. Yeah, Cropsy has that kind of feel, like Splatterhouse and all that.
I definitely agree.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god. But yeah, there's so many there's just a lot of bands out there, and I would say there's a lot of better than there is worse. But,
I agree.
But there's just too many to look through all the time. That's the problem, right?
I try, man. I try to keep up. You mentioned Headsplit. They're a great label.
Yeah.
Good label to go to if you're looking for some crazy stuff. So I buy from them every once in a while. I buy from Caligari Records.
Yep.
A lot. Maggot Stomp.
Yes.
A couple, I try to go for either directly to the band or just some of the smaller underground labels,
Right. Yeah. Kind of cut out the middleman. You go right to the source.
Yeah, if possible. It's nice to, and I'll buy a T-shirt too if I can. If I dig their logo, dig the art or whatever.
Yeah, totally. So you put a book out too.
Yeah. That one's that was a couple of years old. It's actually out of stock and out of print.
Oh, well then.
At this point. But I just it's good you mentioned it. I am working on a new art book right now. I'm working with heavy music artwork from England as a publisher, and I've got about almost 400 pages put together so far for that.
Oh wow!
So that'll be coming out in 2021 to kind of celebrate 30 years of illustrating for underground metal.
That's insane, eh?
What's that?
That's insane, eh?
Yeah.
30 years, man. I never thought, like, nobody ever thinks of this, that, like, you are listening to this weird, crazy-ass music, and you're still listening to it 30 years later. Like, it's fucking weird.
Well, that's the thing, man. A lot of people think metal is a phase.
Oh, my God.
And it is for a lot of kids. But, I grew up listening to 80s music, like new wave and 80s pop. That my parents exposed me to in my youth, and then that kind of fostered my love for music. And I bought my first cassette tape, I think at age 10.
What was it?
Hard rock music and glam metal, and then went over to thrash.
What was the tape? What was the tape?
Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet.
Oh.
that was my talking about gateway.
Yeah.
That was my gateway album to harder music.
Music. Totally guitar-driven music. Yeah.
You listen to some of the tracks on that album, and it's got some good.
There's a couple rippers. Yeah.
Heavy riffs, for accessible music.
Totally. Well, that's like Rat and Dawkins and everything like that, right? Dude, I mean, when you go back and listen to, like, actually listen to some of the songs, man, there's some heavy fucking riffs, man.
Great songwriting. I mean, I still listen to Keel and
I love Keel.
And Rat and Dawkins and some Def Leppard,
Yeah, man.
White Line, Killer Dwarves. I mean, I still listen to that stuff even today.
That shit's good. And then how many horror movies were a lot of those bands in too, right?
Yeah.
Like, unbelievable. I mean, you start getting into that where, like, you get Fastway. They ended up doing the Trick or Treat soundtrack and all that, right? And, like,
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, Nightmare.
Dream Warriors.
Dream Warriors. Totally. Have you ever seen Dawkins?
Oh, did it what?
You ever see Dawkins?
Oh, no, man. I haven't been out to too many shows. I just never. And as far as a stadium show, I've only been to 2.
Oh.
I saw Bon Jovi and Duran Duran.
Duran, that's awesome.
I love Duran Duran.
That's wicked. Oh man.
But yeah.
Just not many shows.
Obviously, smaller shows. I've been to a lot of see smaller bands.
Sure.
We don't have a lot of shows in the area that I live. The last show I went to is probably about 2 years ago. I saw Outer Heaven and Horrendous.
Nice.
And it was cool. I mean, great bands, both of them.
Yes.
Horrendous is probably one of my favorites all around.
Unbelievable, man.
But yeah, no, I mean, there's not a lot of venues for metal around here right now.
So what? You got a trip like an hour away or something?
It's more than that. You got to go to the capital.
Oh.
You got to go to either into DC or into Richmond. And it's just tough, having a family and stuff. I can't. I'm too old to be out late. I get tired at 9.
It's true, though. It's true.
Yeah, I mean, we're close in age. What are you, 45?
45.
Yeah, see, I turn 44 next month, so yeah, we're old men.
Yeah, it hurts sometimes.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I know, and I try to wear the most comfortable shoes as I can when I go out. I make sure I bring my ibuprofens just in case I get a little bit of a headache or my knees are sore or something, right? Like, I gotta.
So depressing, man.
It is.
But maybe we're wiser,
right?
Wiser because of it.
I know, right? I know. It's all the skateboarding and BMXing that I did. So that took its toll, and I'm starting to feel it a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. I'm still young.
We think we are their next
That's the thing too, man. Because there's a lot of times now where it's like, oh yeah, I can jump that part, and I'm like, yeah, what if I get hurt? Then I'm screwed for a long time.
Have you been on a skateboard lately?
All the time.
So you still do it?
Oh yeah.
Dude, I would kill myself if I got on a skateboard.
Oh man,
I really want a scooter.
I've never stopped skateboarding. I won't skateboard a lot, but recently when we got these penny boards, you know, those little plastic things, right? So I ended up getting a bunch of those because usually in the stores they're like $100 or whatever like that, right? So like a couple years ago, I was like, I'm gonna do a Kijiji run and check all these, you know, buy and sell sites and everything like that. So so I go on there and I ended up finding 3 penny boards and a nickel board, which is a little bigger, and they ride so smooth, like it's unbelievable.
Really?
And yeah, and it's like you're old school. You're surfing, you have the loose trucks and everything. I love it, man. So I skate a lot. I skate a lot, and I had no idea. Yeah, man. And I still get out on my BMX all the time, man. I went for a ride today.
Really?
Oh shit!
Oh my God.
I can.
My daughter just learned how to ride her bike in the past few weeks.
Nice.
And so I got my bike out, dude, but I had not been on my bike in like 15 years.
Wow.
It was covered in cobwebs and all dusty and dirty. Yeah.
No way,
I
man.
I how to ride it, so I guess that's good. But
yeah, I've never stopped riding. I've always had bikes, always had skateboards. Yeah, man. Yeah. I've always kept going because I fucking love skateboarding and BMXing. I love it.
I'll have to send you a skateboard deck, man. I don't skate, but I have some skateboards because I always loved skateboard artwork.
Oh, the best.
So I have a couple of decks, you know. I'll just send one to you.
What? What?
You put it to use. For me, it just collects dust in my studio. For you can actually put it to use.
I wouldn't want to skate it though because it's a fucking RIDDICK deck. Come on.
I'm working with a pro skater right now. He not for something skateboard related, but it's this guy named Leo Romero. I guess he's sponsored by one of the major skate companies. I can't remember the name of it. But he plays like singer-songwriter music, and so I'm working on an album cover for him right now. It's kind of a random thing, but I haven't really touched too much on the skateboard realm, but I'd love to at some point, you know, art wise.
Well, because like look at that company Creature. They were all horror related too, right?
Yeah, I would love to do something for them, man. Their stuff is awesome. You know, I just love looking at the art. You know.
Yes, always. And and that's what drew me to for skateboarding. Also, I mean, just the fact that I love fucking skateboarding around. But as soon as you start looking at the the old trans world skateboarding and thrashers and stuff, right? And it's the artwork that was always on the skateboards was always so cool, man. Like
you know, when you look at it, I think there's definitely a common ground visually when it comes to this, you know, skateboarding, metal. Biker culture, even like some of the other subcultures like gothic industrial and stuff like that. Totally. There's definitely a connection visually.
Yep.
And in fact, I would say, I mean, heavy metal in general borrows significantly from biker culture.
Oh, huge.
You know,
huge.
Visually, you know.
Yep.
You know, people say metal's not fashion, but I mean, honestly, I feel like fashion's a huge part of metal. Look at both of us wearing metal gear right now. You know.
That's it.
We're part of the culture.
We're fashionable. We're fashionable.
Well, we are in our own right, you know.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think I look fucking great.
Yeah, I think so too. Man. You look good.
Hey, thanks, man. Thanks.
For an old guy.
Hey. But like the whole skateboarding thing, where there was Zorlak skateboards was a huge one with that with Pusshead, and then the Metallica jumped on there too with all that too, right?
Yeah.
So
very cool stuff, man. Yeah.
Totally.
I used to love going to the skate and surf shops in the 80s and early 90s and just looking at the artwork, man. I skated a little bit too, but I was terrible. You know? But I always loved the artwork.
Yeah, totally, man. No, and like I said, man, I've skated since the mid '80s, and I can't stop. And then my oldest son too, he's fucking amazing skater.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so at least one of my boys took it.
Yeah. And how old is your oldest?
20.
Oh, okay. Wow, man.
Totally. Yeah, man. Yeah, he's a good skater. He pretty much I wouldn't say he's passed me in the tricks that I did. I just can't do anything anymore.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
Like I'm not doing handrails and I'm not doing all the big shit.
I know your center of gravity changes when you get older.
Buddy,
You
I'm like 230, man. I can't.
God, are you kidding me? Really?
No, totally, dude. Hey, thanks, man. It's all muscle. It's all muscle.
It's all muscle.
But yeah, that's the thing though, right? Like just doing like a simple half pipe rock and roll or something like that. Like that's fucking scary nowadays, man.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like if I hit the ground, I'm gonna break something.
Literally.
And then I'll be suffering for the next 40 years, you know.
And that's what happened. It was about 10 years ago. I got walked out of my job, so I got a severance and all this shit, and I was just like, okay, all right, what do I do with myself right now? And I'm like, well, you know what? I'm gonna fucking, I'm gonna get another skateboard and let's get back on the fucking, train again. And I don't have a job right now, so let's kind of, I want to play a bit. So. Yeah. No big deal. Like we go to the skate park, my son's there, all his buddies, whatever, and I'm doing some tricks. I know how to do, some nose slides and some blunt slides and stuff like that. So yeah, totally.
This is like 10 years ago.
So that's 10 years ago.
10 years ago that you were doing this?
This was 10 years, yeah.
Okay.
Totally. So I'm going up down this one part, and there's a cool. It kicks up to like a nice grind, like a nice box up top, right? So you go up, you ollie up, maybe do a nose slide or grind, come down on the other side. So I was going up, do a nice fucking nose slide. I'm going all the way across, and then I start coming off at the end. So then my back foot comes off, but my front foot stays on the board. So when it landed, it shifted, and then my knee literally like kind of just like I heard it pop. Right?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Serious.
Oh, so then obviously I go to the side and I go to the car and I'm like, shit, I think I really fucked it up, right? So I kind of go home and I know what a sprain is. I've done that a million times and whatever. But so I kind of popped it. Yeah, I popped it out and I hyperextended everything and I was off my feet for 9 months.
Oh my God, dude, are you serious?
So pretty much right after that, I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah. Do you still feel it sometimes?
Yeah.
You still feel like a little awkward when the weather changes and whatnot?
Totally. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My ankles, my wrists, all that stuff, right? I mean, you're always slapping down when you're skateboarding. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
totally.
True. Yeah,
so now I just cruise and just maybe do an ollie. That's about
Keep it casual. Simple. Yeah.
Totally. So you got a shit ton of projects on the go, which, like we were mentioning, what else you got?
Art-wise, I have to keep a production schedule.
Yes.
So I don't forget what I'm working on.
Yep.
Right now, so I've got a lot of stuff I can't reveal yet.
Yep.
Some really big bands, big collaborations and stuff, which is awesome. Pretty happy about. So I'm just kind of waiting for those to be released. Right now I'm working on stuff for Lick from Sweden, another metal blade band.
Oh, Lick, yeah.
Druid Lord I've got on my schedule. Zealot Cult, Warbringer, a clothing brand called Widow. From California. There's some more stuff for a band called Invicta.
Oh yeah.
And another, they might be Canadian. I'm not sure, or maybe this other band is Canadian. Incinerator.
No, I don't know. I think Invicta is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Pretty sure.
So I've got this going on, and some collaborations with a couple clothing companies coming out soon, like streetwear.
Yeah.
Brands.
Fuck yeah.
And then just, it's like it changes every week, man. It's just kind of like, it's just constantly a moving process. Literally. Something comes in, something goes out. Something comes in, something goes out. You know what I mean?
And you're not getting bored of it.
What's that?
You're not getting bored of it.
No.
Good.
Every job's a challenge. A good, a healthy challenge.
Totally.
My son's trying to get into the room. I locked the door so my kids couldn't come in.
Sweet. But so doing the artwork itself, before it would take you like obviously, you know, like a piece on the back wall there, like is that 8x11 or something like that?
Oh, yeah,
Right?
these are the stuff around me. It's mostly artwork I've collected by other artists. So I've got stuff from like Vince Locke, Nat Carr,
Yeah.
Chris Moyen, Steve Kastner, Justin Bartlett, just a mix of artists hanging on my wall here.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but so these are all various sizes,
right.
but my stuff is all 8.5 by 11.
Okay.
Every once in a while, I'll go 11 by 17, and last year I worked on something that was it like 16 by 22 or something like that, which is the biggest piece I think I've inked.
Wow.
That hasn't been published yet, but looking forward to when it does. It's super intense.
Wow.
But yeah, so most are 8.5 by 11. Just standard like printer paper is what I draw on. I keep it real kind of rudimentary. But yeah, process wise is, you know, it's usually just a bandwidth email and request artwork, and I just decide if I want to take it or not, or if I have the time for it or not. And then you know, I'll draft a sketch. Either most of the time they kind of come to the table with a few ideas, but or they'll just send me lyrics. But sometimes I'll just kind of come up with something on my own. So I just start with a sketch. You know, send a sketch for review
in pencil.
And then, yeah, it's a pencil sketch. And then once the sketch is approved, then I start the inking process. And then I ink the whole thing. And then when I'm done, I just scan it into the computer at high resolution, and I send the art files digitally so they can have the you know, ready for print.
Yeah.
And logos, I'll take sort of an extra step with those. I'll hand draw them most of the time, and then I'll turn them into what's called a raster file, which is a vector. I'm sorry, not a raster file, a vector file, right. Which is a file type where you can make an image really small or really large, and it won't lose any quality.
Right.
So I'll do vector, take it a step further and do vector file for logos. But that's basically the process. Right. I mean, it's kind of straightforward.
Well, because a lot of the time you want to do, like you said, the logos in vector, because if they're building banners and backdrops and all that kind of shit, you need something that's 5-6 feet wide sometimes.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. But all the artwork's raster. I just send like a 600 DPI size image, and it's print quality threshold is 300 DPI, so I just send a little bit higher, you know, just for quality's sake.
Yep.
But that's it. I mean, that's basically the process, and you know, nothing extravagant.
Simple as that, yeah.
Pen on paper.
So
the old school one. I try to stay away from the computer as much as I can, you know, during the entire process. So I just prefer more hands-on, tangible way of doing things.
Totally. So is it a few days it would take you to do a piece, like a nice 8x11?
It depends. Like Incinerator, I just did that this morning. Like I finished it today, you know, one day. So but that was more straightforward.
Okay.
More straightforward illustration they were requesting. It usually takes anywhere between like 3 to 8 hours, I would say, to complete a drawing. It just depends on what's involved.
Yeah, totally. More detail, all that kind of jazz.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, some of the customers are, you know, deadline. You know, they have a deadline. There's some of the jobs are deadline driven, some aren't. So I just try to kind of manage my time appropriately. You know, I don't want to keep a band waiting too long, but also, you know, if I've got a deadline, that needs my attention first. You know, so it's really again, like something that's constantly a moving process. It doesn't end. You know.
Yeah.
It's
honestly,
fun.
But it doesn't get tiresome drawing skulls and maggots all the time.
No. No. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like to do some out of the box stuff when I can. I mean, that's my comfort zone, but I like to push myself too. I don't want to be comfortable all the time. I want to do something that that also challenges me every once in a while. Not to the point of frustration, hopefully, but enough to be like, okay, cool, now I have a new tool in my toolkit. You know what I mean? Enough that I can learn and gain something from it.
For sure.
So yeah, it's weird too, like with the underground metal stuff. I mean, that's definitely my preference and what I typically will do, but it's been a strange journey. Like had a lot of weird, like random things come up. Like right now, I'm working on a lot of stuff for like streetwear brands, which is weird because that's not what I normally do.
Right.
You know, I'm normally doing album covers or T-shirts, mostly T-shirts. But I've had, opportunities to do stuff that's different. And sometimes that's cool. Like sometimes I'll take a job, not necessarily challenging art-wise, but maybe challenging because it's like, it's kind of unique and cool to have my work reproduced on a different kind of product or in a different way.
Totally. A different scene.
Yeah, and sometimes like I might take a job because I like my customer. I think they're cool. They've been great to work with. Right. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So people don't always see the behind the scenes stuff. They might be like, "Why'd you draw for that band? They suck." And I'll be like, "They don't know it, but my customer is really freaking cool. It's easy to work with, or and just they're reliable. They're consistent." So there's multiple reasons why I would take a request.
Right. Totally. But also too, if you don't have too much work on your lap at that time, also.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm fortunate now, like I guess at this point in time where there's constantly stuff coming in. If I can help out other artists, I try to pass stuff along when I can. But it's been pretty consistent, like the last 3 or 4 years, I'd say. It's very consistent, workload-wise. It's never quiet. I mean, I'd like for it to be sometimes, so I can work on my own stuff, like for like the RIDDICK art brand. But I usually have to carve out time for that, on my own.
Right. Yeah.
But it's okay.
Yeah. Right on. But you're keeping busy though, and that's the good thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Well, you got a list of stuff there, like you got to get through in the next month and a half, maybe. Yeah, I'm definitely keeping busy. Right on. So I don't want to keep you too long. We had it's like 8 o'clock now or whatever.
Yeah, gotta get the kids ready for bed.
You got it, man. You got it. So it's honestly been amazing to actually finally connect with you.
Oh yeah, likewise. And hey, like I said, I really sincerely appreciate everything that you're doing with the documentary. And just even, repressing some of these old, like the Exhumed and Carnal Dissection, those are bands I used to write to back in the day, and I always loved their demos too. I'm like, damn, this is cool. You're actually making it available to a new generation of metalheads. And I really appreciate not just that, but all the hard work that goes into being a creative individual and being a storyteller. I respect that, and I appreciate what you're doing with the Growl.
Thanks, man. Thanks. And I've never done a documentary before, so this is all new to us also. We're used to making monsters and, blowing up wieners and whatever like that, right? But
Nice.
But this has been fun, but but what I like about it the most is it's making me connect with the people that I really want to connect with regardless.
I hear that.
Whether or not I'm doing this documentary, I've always wanted to meet Roy Fox from Necroharmonic because I used to write with him back in the day. And right? So I
still got the Ceremonium 7-inch.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Right on. So this is why I'm doing it mostly because it's finally giving me a reason to get off my ass, go travel to shows, and start just meeting the people that we've been fucking like pen paling for the last 30 years almost, right?
I know, man. I hear that. Some people, when I think of my art, they just see the drawing. They can see it posted on social media or whatever. They don't think about the work that went into it or that somebody actually sat there and created it, how to spend time on it. And I think there's value in understanding that, we're people too. We're behind the scenes, but we're working hard. Like you're having to do all this traveling. You're having to think of all these questions to ask people. Yeah. Having to get the dirt, and get the scoop and tell a story that a lot of people have, maybe stories that people haven't heard before. So you're going to put a lot of thought, time, and effort into your endeavors too. So
totally.
I mean, we're people, and we're just hard workers. We have to be hard workers. So, and we're passionate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because we love fucking death metal.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. We love music, man.
It's literally, man, music-wise, like you said before, man, I love everything. I love it all, man. Like, right now, I'm getting back into like a late 80s, early 90s R&B kick. Or whatever. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Oh, my God, man. Yeah, Belle Biv DeVoe. Belle Biv DeVoe and Bobby Brown and all. Dude, I love it. I love it.
I would never have guessed that. If it makes you feel better, I've been listening to like Duran Duran and New Order.
Love it. I love it. I love that
like
stuff.
That lately,
I'm a big Depeche Mode guy too. I love
Depeche
Mode.
Mode, yeah, all that stuff.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, I can listen to that too.
But then that goes back to earlier new wave where you get into Bauhaus and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And Enstrazen, Newbotten, and It's Real Kill Cult and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, oh. I've listened to all that stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I love it all, dude. I love it, man. But yeah, like I mean, you kind of have to get out of your element, like you mentioned before. You know, I'm drawing skulls again. I'm drawing maggots again. But this T-shirt company likes my art and wants me to do something a little different. So damn straight. And then you reset yourself, and then you go right back into the skulls and maggots.
That's right, man. Yeah.
Totally. Well, I don't want to keep you too long, brother. And like I said, man, thank you very much for all the art and everything that you've been doing for all the bands and the demos and the zines and the borders and everything, man. It's been fucking awesome, and it's it's all about the borders.
It's cool that you mentioned that. You know, that's some old school stuff right there. I mean, that stuff. You know, those old fanzines I used to drool over, looking at all those the layouts and the border frames and being able to emulate that now. It's fun.
I love the borders, man. When you can come up with a good border for a zine or something.
Yeah, it's the best. It makes the spread. You know, it makes the spread enjoyable.
It totally does.
Old school DIY graphic design, man.
Damn straight. So, if anybody out there is looking for Mr. Riddick to hire, then he's still hanging out, and you could message him there on the Facebook or the Instagram, or where else? Where else?
Email is best. I actually don't answer mail on social media.
All right.
I just don't have the time, or partially because I'm a little bit inept when it comes to social media. So best to send an email message if you want to reach me.
So go to the website.
But yeah.
Go to the website.
Yeah.
That's your best thing.
And Cam, I appreciate your time and I appreciate your support. Thank you for having me on here. It's an honor and a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been a super pleasure.
To finally meet and chat with you.
I know, right? As crazy as this situation is, this wouldn't have happened if all this shit was going down.
I hear that, man. I get that completely.
Totally. So yeah.
Good.
Yeah, man. Right on. Well, thank you very much, and we are gonna chat. And you give me your goddamn address so I can send you some shit.
I'll get back to you.
Cool, man. Thanks a lot, dude.
All right. Thanks, Cam. Take care, man.
Take it easy.
All right, see you, man.
Woo! There you go, Mr. fucking Riddick. It's about time, man. Been connected with that guy for like 30 years also, and it's like, and there's the guy. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Uh-oh. No. All right. Well, that's good. So it's been working this whole time. Okay, I thought it froze for a sec. Whew. All right, so we're good. Thank you, everybody. That's been a hoot. That was good. So yeah, tomorrow 7:30, we're good to go. Mr. Ed Farsty, Mr. New York himself. Like I mentioned before with Riddick, he used to run Rage Records with Joe Pupo. And if you're not familiar with Rage Records back in the day, please do your homework. I love to spill as much information as I can to you, but sometimes the whole point of being in the underground is to be able to dig and just go look for it yourself too sometimes. Because if you love this shit and you're watching this, I'm pretty sure you're going to be interested in what Rage Records was. So check that out. And yeah, that's going to be tomorrow. And on Thursday, like I said, we got Peter from Vader, and that's going to be starting at 4:30, just because of time difference and where he is. So be sure to hang out with that. But yeah, man, support, right? Share as much as you can, like as much as you can, comment. It all means something, and everybody sees it eventually online. Share, friends, social media. So I gotta go eat some supper. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, all right?